Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Look Forward. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Brad.
Hello, Jay. We're about to make some people who lack comprehension skills upset, I'm sure, on this week's episode.
Not our normal listeners, but
No. The fucking dweebos that wander in off YouTube will, I'm sure, be very upset about some of the things we say. But again, you need to be able to put logical thoughts together when talking about things and realize that many things can be true simultaneously.
look, it is September 11th. It's Thursday as we are recording this. This is the day after Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah. And look, I recorded an episode of Black and Black Cinema. We did a preview episode, and that was our topic, talking about it as well. And I got to tell you, over the last 24 hours, my thoughts on this have shifted considerably. Or let me rephrase that. Not my thoughts. My anger level has shifted considerably. Where it was like a mild simmer. Like, you know, I feel like I'm always at about a 65% anyway, when it comes to politics. No, it's a rolling boil. At this point now, just because of some of the responses, which I thought have been nothing short of fucking ridiculous. And if you think, oh, you mean like people making memes? No, that's not what I mean. Not those people. So let's talk
just
about
real quick. So as of time of recording, I'm sure most of you listening probably are aware Charlie Kirk, notable right-wing political influencer, co-founder of Turning Point USA, which is an organization that attempts to make college campuses more conservative. Like that's literally their stated goal. Was shot and killed while at a Turning Point event at Utah Valley University yesterday, as we're recording this. At the time that we're recording, the person who committed the killing has not been identified or found. They're still on the loose by all accounts. Thank goodness the Keystone cops are on the case, because Kash Patel could not wait to tweet out that they had a suspect in custody not long after the shooting happened, only to then have to double back later and said that the person that they had in custody had been released because the actual people doing the investigating on the ground never said that they were suspect. They said that they were a person of interest. That is what you get when you hire a podcaster. No disrespect to present company intended, as head of the FBI. Maybe you want competent law enforcement officials. It's also been reported that the former head of that FBI branch, who happened to be a Pakistani woman, but was a career FBI official who was incredibly competent, was forced out of the job recently. For what reason, we don't know. We can probably guess if I had to wonder. And so the new head of the office out there doesn't know what the fuck they're doing either, because they're kind of in over their heads as well. But don't worry, Jay, because Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are flying out to Utah tomorrow, and once they get on the ground, I'm sure things will really start moving in the right direction.
Those guys are idiots. I think they've had two people now that they've like, it's the guy, and it's not the guy. It's the guy, and it's not the guy, right? Which, by the way, here's how you do your job if you're in the FBI. You get the people, you do all of your like investigating or whatever, at least your preliminary stuff, and you go, okay, we're 99% sure this is the guy. Then you announce that you have the guy in custody. You don't do it off of...
Well, not only that,
that's probably him. That's stupid.
Because again, like Kash Patel's only instinct is to create content. Like that's his natural state of being. He tweets out like stuff like evidence. He tweets out evidence that they've gathered, including like we've recovered a footprint. Like a shoe print from the scene and stuff like that. And I see David Simon, like noted author, creator of The Wire and of Homicide. And so someone who is familiar and like knows about like crime investigation and stuff like that, like knows it pretty well. He's like, I gotta say, he's like, if you details like that, like, oh, we have a shoe print. like you hold that back because now, like, if you're the killer, oh, we have a shoe print, I'm destroying those shoes.
Yeah, get rid of the shoe.
Right. Like that's happening immediately. Like, why the hell are you just tweeting this shit out there? Again, this is what happens when you hire based on influence rather than competency. So,
well, in fairness, he's a DEI hire, is he not? Diversity as far as intelligence, equity. They hired as many idiots as they've hired smart people, apparently, and inclusion. They included an idiot. So good job, good job. Like,
yeah.
Stop hiring people based on your fucking ideology and hire people who are best for the job. And by the way, this is not particularly relevant to this story and this week, but it somehow is now, as I think about it slightly, is. We didn't report on this story, but the FBI has stopped requiring that you have a college degree to work at the fucking bureau, which is wild to me because they want to try to be like, hey, Jim Bob, you got a high school diploma? You want to go out there and catch bad guys? You can be in the fucking FBI. How about no? Because you should have people with criminal justice degrees. These are like the top dog fucking people. These are your super smarty smart nerd cops. That's who you should have. But because they're so anti-intellectual that they will put anyone in the job as long as they are willing to like crack heads and knock down doors. That's not what the FBI is all about. And look,
what is now
of the FBI, but that's not what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, it is. It is for the next 3 to 7 years at least.
Exactly. So good job. So they still don't know who it is. That's not good because it's like the Luigi Mangione thing. The longer this goes on, the harder it is. It really is. And that guy, like Luigi, had a very distinct face. So when someone saw him, they were like, this guy they're showing like these fuzzy images is like a white dude with sunglasses and a hat. Like he looks like every white dude in Utah, as far as I'm concerned, right? And look, maybe I'm being racist, but I'm just saying I was like, that could be Brad, Andy, it could be anyone. It could be anyone. Frankly, I might call you guys in. Like it's fine.
That guy's way the guy in the pictures they've shown is way too skinny for me to be or for me or Andy to be suspected. Look, I'm just being honest out here.
Yeah, balls and
being honest out here.
They have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Cool. All right, so let's talk about there. So the obvious thing here is what the reactions are on the right and the left. But before we get to that, I want to talk about something else, which is I hated Charlie Kirk. And like, I'm not saying that to be like controversial or just say it to just be like fucking mean or whatever. I don't give a shit about that. Trust me, if I wanted to just be mean, I could come up with a lot worse things to say about him. But I don't think the guy should have been shot. Right? I don't think it's an uncontroversial stance to take to be like, hey, like political violence is bad. No, but some people are like, yes, right,
I'll give it to you. I don't give it to you like this, right? You and I joke a lot about like wishing for the death of certain political figures.
100%
to happen.
It would be hypocritical for me to pretend.
Yeah, to say that we don't wish that like certain things would happen is disingenuous. You can roll the tape like it's right fucking there.
I mean, literally look at the last episode. What the main topic was? Is he dead?
Right. Right. But notice that we're not calling for like, man, like I really hope somebody like picks up a gun and fucking kills this dude. Like that's not at all what we're saying. Like we are looking for nature to heal and to do its thing,
right?
And for natural causes to be the case.
Not for somebody to be brutally murdered.
Right, because political violence is, I mean, more than any other type of violence, just begets more violence. Like there's always a response or always someone that's inspired by, things. And so you have copycats and things like that. Like, I don't think it's an accident that, for example, if you go back to the 60s, that MLK Jr. and Bobby Kennedy were killed in relatively close proximity to one another from a time standpoint. That's absolutely on purpose. I'm sure. What was the dude's name? The RFK killer who had the same name twice. I can never remember it though, because it fucking I'm sure there's some inspiration there as well. So no, political violence is bad. Now, I have an issue with whenever things like this happen. There's a class of pundit out there who likes to say, "Oh, woe is us. This isn't who America is." No, you're actually wrong. You're actually really wrong on that. Like, America from its inception has been built on a bedrock of political violence. Like, get the fuck out of here with all that shit. Again, doesn't excuse it, doesn't mean that it's right, but let's not pretend the history isn't something we're aware
This isn't who we are. This is exactly who we are.
Right. Like 100%.
Like, what do you mean this isn't who we are? We have 400 million guns in the country. This is exactly who we are.
Yeah, but obviously, like, no one in the right mind is going to call for stuff like that to happen.
No,
because again, we know what the we know what the end result basically is going to be. So I want to be very clear as we progress in this discussion that Jay and I both agree that we wish that Charlie Kirk had not been shot and killed by somebody because of his political beliefs. And again, we don't know the reason that he was killed yet. As we're recording this, I think it's fairly safe to assume, based on who the victim was, that there was political undertones leading to the killing of it. Who knows? Maybe this dude cheated on Charlie Kirk's wife and decided to revenge him. Like,
right. Again,
not likely, but it's possible.
Right. The high chance, I mean, I think if we're all being logical, like you said, is that this is politically motivated. However, you don't know what side it's coming from. And I know what people will say, well, that doesn't make any sense, except for the last number of political assassinations or attempts have been right-wingers, some of which on other right-wingers, right? Like, because there are people who want to try to spark shit off, and they're willing to more than sacrifice someone on their own side in hopes that the other side gets blamed, and then it becomes a cycle of violence. That is a very true thing in history. That is a very true thing that literally,
or maybe it's a right winger who feels betrayed because the person that they're trying to kill is not extreme enough.
Yeah, I
mean, for their perspective,
right? And Kyle Kalinske, who is a liberal podcaster, he made a statement when he was reporting on this yesterday that neo-Nazis and Charlie Kirk were like beefing with each other, like pretty openly. So maybe those guys were like, you know what? Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that is the thing that's important to remember, and we're as guilty of it as anybody. But we love as people to sort like politics into neat little organized bins. Like, the left wingers believe this, and then there's some people that are more on the left that believe these other things, and then right wingers generally believe this, and there's other people that believe these other things. But we like to kind of organize them. And in reality, like, if we're being truthful and honest about it, there is no sorting of bins. Like, everyone's weird. Like, there's odd coalitions. There's a mismatch of beliefs. Like, there's not a lot of uniform beliefs all the time. Like, a lot of times it's picking from a Chinese menu, and there might be things that you agree with 75% of somebody on, but the other 25% might be more malleable. But that's why we also tell you all the time in elections, like, you're never going to find a candidate that you agree with 100% of the time, but you have to find the one that you agree with the most of, and vote for that person, and not let perfect be the enemy of good, which Democrats love to do so very often.
Right. I mean, look at the Maha movement, right? To make America healthy again. There's a lot of liberal hippie folks in that movement who voted for Trump because they thought, oh, this is going to be the way to, because that's their big issue, and you're allowed to have your big issue. I feel like you weren't really paying attention when science class was going on, but that's just me, man. Like, not my fault. That's your fault. So, but there's a lot of weird crossover there, right? So, that does happen. So, look, we both abhorred. I hated Charlie Kirk. I don't know if hate is a word you would use. Brad said,
yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, again, like this is a dude who again, exhibited the very worst of what
Yep.
the right wing is in this country. Like I have here a list, and I saw a commentator on social media say something that really summed this up well, and that is that the most scathing things, the most scathing takes that I've heard about Charlie Kirk are people who just repeated his words that he said while talking about him posthumously. And I have a list of things. This is a small sampling of comments that Charlie Kirk has made over the years. He has said in the past that gay people should be stoned to death, as the Bible portends. He has said that most people, I think he might need to check his sources, but most people are scared when they see a black pilot flying an airplane. That Taylor Swift should reject feminism and submit to her husband. That nobody should be allowed to retire, because I guess we need, workers in the mines until they die. That leftists should not be allowed to move to red states. That British...
Hey, I agree with that one. That's perfect.
Hey, but we'll always find some things we agree on. That British colonialism was what, quote, made the world decent. He implored his supporters, a wealthy supporter of his, to bail out Paul Pelosi's attacker in the wake of that happening. He said that religious freedom, a bedrock tenet of the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, should be terminated. He said that multiple black politicians, quote, stole white people's spots from them. He said MLK Jr. was, quote, an awful person. He touted the Great Replacement theory. He was one of the people that pushed the hydroxychloroquine curing COVID lie that happened during the COVID pandemic. Vaccine requirements are medical apartheid. Women's natural place is under their husband's control. Parents should prevent their daughters from taking birth control. The 1964 Civil Rights Act was a, quote, huge mistake. Mamdani winning in New York would be a travesty because the Muslims did 9/11, quote unquote, like the Muslims TM did 9/11. Muslims only come to the U.S. to destabilize Western civilization. And not only does Palestine, quote, not exist, but those who support it are like the KKK.
Which is probably a group that you support anyway.
And of course, the quote of his that's probably getting the most play in the wake of what happened back in 2023, quote, I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect other God-given rights. His words, not mine.
Again, I hated Charlie Kirk, but I don't think he should have been shot. I wish he had just stopped doing what he did.
That's one area where us and Charlie Kirk differ greatly, is that we don't agree that it's worth having gun deaths in the country.
No, not even needlessly.
His. Yeah, just to protect the Second Amendment, especially not his.
Right.
Anyone's.
You didn't have the quote. You didn't have the quote, but he also said that he doesn't agree with empathy. He thinks it's a made up nonsense word that does a lot of damage. Look, here's my thing with Kirk. I need people to stop. There's sort of a fundamental thing that is broken in politics, and I don't mean from a politician's perspective. I mean how in which we talk about it. And not us, I mean societal wise, which is there is a dire need to both sides everything.
Which we've been talking about in this program for 10 years.
For fucking 10 years, exactly. And it's just this idea of you got to give them credit. Here's the thing, you don't though. You can simply just say, man, Charlie Kirk shouldn't have gotten shot for what he said. That's fucked up. Period.
Yeah, I feel terrible for his family.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine. He's got 2 little girls. I'm okay with that. But that's where it should end. What I am seeing, what you're seeing, you and I were talking about this offline, is this idea, and what's really has really shifted my anger a lot in the last 24 hours is this very mealy-mouthed bullshit response from liberals and Democrats who are saying like, oh, well, you know, like Ezra Klein, who was an incredibly smart liberal person, said that Charlie Kirk was, quote, practicing politics in the right way. Because you are so fucking scared to be fucking honest. You don't have to tap dance on the guy's grave, but you don't have to lionize him either. He was practicing politics in the right way? Really? By saying that, that black women pilots, how do we know that they're qualified? That's practicing politics in the right way?
By punching down on trans people and LGBTQ people, by creating a professor watch list, which is something that Turning Point has maintained for over a decade, of liberal professors at colleges who have written or said things that they don't like, in an effort to try to get those professors harassed or fired or just threatened in a general way. Like, is that practicing politics the right way? Is Gavin Newsom, like Gavin Newsom says, the best way to honor Charlie Kirk is to continue his work. Which work would that be, Gavin Newsom? The work of imploring and encouraging political violence himself, which is something that he did? Yeah, bigotry. Is that the work that we should that people should continue to honor his legacy? And again, that's where people like, and we talk about this all the time on the show, and I feel like we go insane doing it. We have to stop as a society taking public figures and like when they die for whatever reason, like whether it's natural causes or in tragic cases like this, just because the death itself is tragic and just because it shouldn't have happened, and we can agree that it shouldn't have happened and that the circumstances leading to it happening are bad. But we have to stop taking the individual that's impacted by these things and completely trying to rewrite their legacy in an exclusively positive light. Like, you, especially public figures, especially influential public figures, which Charlie Kirk was, you have to evaluate them on the terms by which they live their life. Absolutely. That's the devil's bargain that fame unfortunately forces you to reckon with. The flip side of you being out there, being a face that people recognize, being someone whose words carry weight and value, being very wealthy based on these things, like that's the trade-off. Like, if you want to live in anonymity and work on a middle-class income and not have people say bad things about you when you pass away, go right ahead. That's what a lot of us do. You know what I mean? Like, that's the
majority of us, the vast majority of you.
Right. But if you want to be out there and you want to be an influential thinker and you want to be someone who is looked at and respected and things like that on a wide scale, then you have to take the good with the bad. You have to understand that, all right, well, if something goes sideways, then there's going to be some people that have some really shitty things to say about me.
Look, I'll sum up exactly what you said with a Chris Rock quote. You gotta, to paraphrase the quote, you gotta love the crust of a motherfucker. You can't just enjoy the white part of the bread, right? Because like, people love to just ignore all of this shit around it and just be like, well, he said this one quote. Like, I was telling Brad offline, I was going back and forth with this like fitness fucking person that I followed that I immediately unfollowed when she put a stupid ass video up. And look, I was following because you look good in the yoga pants. Let's be honest, okay? Like, I'm not above it. I'm quite below it, to be honest. And you know, she had posted like, this is a sad day and blah, 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 blah. And people in the comments are like, yeah, oh my God, this is so terrible. And then some people are like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? Why are you doing this? Like, what is this nonsense? One, you don't post anything political ever. Everything you do is fitness related, which is fine. That's why I follow you, right? If you want to call the reason I follow you fitness, sure. And so, but then you come up with this, and somebody pointed out rightly, they're like, where was the post about the politicians getting murdered in Minnesota? Where was that post? What about all these kids that gotten shot at schools? Where's that post?
Yeah, fun fact, because it went completely under the rug because this is such a normal part of this country now that it's not newsworthy anymore. But literally hours after Charlie Kirk was shot, 2 kids were killed in a school shooting in Colorado.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Completely off the radar for everybody, right-wingers, left-wingers, doesn't matter, because we were all talking about Charlie Kirk. And again, school shootings are a just normal, regular part of life at this point in the United States of America.
Yeah. And so I asked this woman, I'm like, why? Like, I was trying to be, I'm like, don't be a dick, don't be a dick, don't be a dick, right? But which is hard for me in situations like this. But I'm like, okay. She's like, well, I didn't agree with everything that he said. And I asked a question, which you as listeners should also ask people when they say this bullshit line, because you're going to hear it a lot. Well, I didn't agree with everything he said. And your response should be, okay, what did you agree with him on? Because they use it as a cop-out to not talk about it anymore, right? Because they're not expecting that question. And they just expect people to just let it rock. I don't. That is my biggest problem. I don't let things lie. Just ask my wife. Okay? I don't. I have a big fucking mouth. And so I was like, what did you agree? And you know what she responded with? Some bullshit quote from Charlie Kirk that was like, go out there and, not change the world, but like go out there and be productive. I was like, that's the quote? That's the thing you agreed with him about? This single fucking quote? What about all this other shit that this guy has said? 99.9% of the things that have ever come out of his mouth publicly have been completely antithetical to, a proper society, equality, equitable living, the rights of minorities and LGBT folks, treatment of women as equals, not having unfettered access to high-powered weapons that are used to kill people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you asked me for one thing, so I just gave you that. Really? You found one quote that you probably fucking Googled right before you wrote that shit. So here's my thing. I'm tired of this mealy-mouth bullshit. I'm so fucking sick of it. I'm going to read you 2 quotes by a person, and then I'm going to tell you who said it. And I'm telling you these quotes, or I'm reading these to you, because this is exactly how you're supposed to respond to this. The attack on Charlie Kirk is horrifying. Political violence has no place in this country. It should never become the norm. I'm sending my sympathies to his family and friends at this time. That's quote 1. Quote 2, no one in this country should have to fear gun violence, whether it's in the class, in high school, or attending an event at a college campus. I strongly condemn the shooting that killed Charlie Kirk today at Utah Valley University. May his memory be a blessing. Okay, last line, not a big fan of that shit, but the rest of it is fine. That's fine. Hey, man, I'm sad to hear that guy got shot. Hey, man, nobody should live in fear of gun violence. That's it. You know who that's from? J.B. Pritzker. That's exactly how you should respond to it. This sucks that the guy got shot. Feel sorry for his fucking family. Moving the fuck on. I wouldn't have added that. May his memory be a blessing. He's probably a Christian, so like they got to do that shit for Jesus points. Whatever. Get the fuck out of here.
Jesus points.
I assume it's Stanley Nichols, yeah. Brute Bucks.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
So, but that's as far as it should go. And then I'm going to read a quote that I think is absolutely fucking perfect. Democrat Ilhan Omar said, quote, people remembering Charlie Kirk's positive qualities are, quote, full of shit. That is also correct. He didn't have any fucking good qualities. The guy didn't believe in empathy. You can hear all the things that Brad just laid out for you. What good qualities? Was he helping poor kids out of a burning home at some point? Why are you lionizing this guy? Democratic politicians, fucking liberal people. You don't have to dance on his grave, but you do not have to hold this guy up like he was fucking Gandhi. He wasn't. Put your goddamn big boy pants on. The right is out there saying, we're at war. We're not at fucking war. But this is an ideological fight. It very much is. Stop fighting with your goddamn hands tied behind your back. Say what you mean. You think that these guys are going to turn around and say the most deplorable shit in a couple of fucking months or weeks when this shit happens to someone that's on our side? What do you think they give a shit? Nancy Mace is out there saying the left owns this killing of Charlie Kirk, literally without knowing who did it.
Or why.
Or why. Thank you. Right. You have no fucking idea, but immediately she goes, it's definitely the Democrats who did this. If it's the neo-Nazis, then what? Where? Right. And by the way, a reporter asked when she said it in fucking real time. They said, well, does that mean by your logic that the right owns the shooting of the politicians in Minnesota? And she was like, we're talking about Charlie Kirk right now. We're not talking about that. You know why she said that shit? Because she got called on her fucking shit. Because what she said is massively hypocritical, and by her own logic, the right should own that shooting. They fucking should. Because that guy actually was right wing, and we know why he did it. She don't even know right now. She has no fucking clue. But what should
nobody does except for the guy that did it, because he's the only one that has that wherewithal. Yeah. And so and the thing for me, like with the liberal, like, and we'll get to the conservative take on it in a second, but like for the liberal piece of it, who are falling all over themselves to, I guess, like make themselves look good in this light instead of just,
grow up.
Like you said, I'm not saying you have to go out there and be like, wow, Charlie Kirk was a piece of shit and I'm glad he's dead. Like, no, like that. I'm not saying go say that, but like you could just like say nothing about him personally and just speak about it in very broad terms, like JB Pritzker did. So for the people that are falling over themselves to, again, virtuize a person who I don't necessarily feel is deserving of it, to what end? Like what are you doing? Are you trying to get brownie points with the right? A group of people who, regardless of how much you kowtow to them and say like, oh, look, like there's some things we can align with, stuff like that, who wouldn't piss on you to put you out if you were on fire? Like is that the people that you're appealing to? Like, are you trying to appeal to like Democrats, better angels? Because to, for your point, Charlie Kirk may have thought that empathy was a weakness. I don't agree that that's true. But I also know that a lot of my empathy, especially as it pertains for political figures who have fomented hate and division and violence and things of that nature, a lot of my empathy has been beaten out of me over the past several years for those folks. It's why Jay and I fucking slam dunked on Hulk Hogan, who wasn't even that much of a political figure. Like Hulk Hogan was just a general piece of shit who also happened to, in later in years, like, with right-wing quotes. It's why when Donald Trump eventually dies, probably soon, more on that later in the podcast, we are playing the crab rave like straight from the jump on this fucking podcast. Uh-oh, you're muted, Jay.
I'm not celebrating Charlie Kirk's death because simply somebody being shot to death is fucked up. Like it just is. Yeah. Like it's not cool. It's fucking horrifying. It's the reason I didn't watch the close-up video of it. I had access to
neither did
I
have no desire to see that happen in real time. No
right. And look, that should tell you something, right? Because like I saw that when the news first broke that he got shot, and people were like, "Did he die?" Like nobody knew. Somebody was like, here's the video. And I went, and it was the far away video that kind of zooms in. So you just see him like touch his neck. So you couldn't see much of anything. I was like, all right, that's enough. Like, I'm good. If I really was like reveling in it, I would have watched that up close video like, hell yeah, brother, this is awesome. No, I don't need to see that. And it's not because I'm squeamish. I'm watching Alien Earth right now. That show is fucked up, right? Everything is in 4K. I can see all sorts of horrible shit. But I don't need to see that. And I don't even need to see that a person I fucking can't stand. Like legitimate.
Dude, to this day, I have still not watched the video of Trump's attempted assassination. Have not seen it. Didn't watch it when it happened. Haven't seen it in the aftermath.
You should watch the other angle one that really kind of flies in the face of me thinking that maybe it wasn't real. Because why is one of his body men like moving reporters so they can get a better look? It was a bit weird. Right. And I'll send you that. You don't see any of the shooting or whatever, but it's just like, the fuck is this? Like, this is bizarre. Yeah. But that'll never get,
because again, like we hold true to the things that we believe. Like, it doesn't matter who it happened to.
Yeah.
It just matters that we don't want to see it. Meanwhile, and I don't think it's out of fucking pocket to say this. Had the victim of this shooting not been Charlie Kirk, I think Charlie Kirk absolutely would have been, along with all the other right wingers, jumping to blame the left wing and using this as an inciting moment, without having any of the facts or any of the information.
That is 1,000% true. And I'm not hoping this happens or anything like that. I don't want it to. But let's say this was Ben Shapiro that this happened to. Charlie Kirk would have been right there tweeting about how the left is evil and blah, blah. He would have been doing all of the same inflammatory things that he always does, right? So make no mistake that, as I told that fitness influencer, Charlie Kirk died in a world that he wanted, right? So he did. That's exactly the world that he wanted. Look, the right-wing response to this of like this means war type of shit is predictable. I wouldn't even pretend to say that I'm shocked by it.
I also think that it's incredibly performative.
Oh, 100%.
Like it is 1000% performative. And the reason I say that, people are like, oh, how can you say that? Like one of their most popular figures was killed. Like there's no way this is performative. It is performative, and here's why.
They don't give a fuck about anything.
Well, but I can prove it to you. Look at the right-wing reaction to this event happening, and to what had happened, and of course they're blaming liberals, and and they have their rancor up, and they're kind of foaming at the mouth and all this other bullshit, right? Go back a couple of weeks and look at the reactions that the right wing had, not to a political figure being killed, not to anything that any liberal politicians or influencers said or did, but look at the vitriol and the level of anger, the level of frothing at the mouth, and just pure, just vile rhetoric being spouted by them. At Cracker Barrel deciding to change their logo from their traditional logo to a bland, to very 2020s-esque corporate style rebranding.
And it had nothing.
Go back it.
And it had nothing.
Go back it. Right,
Nothing.
that had nothing to do with them whatsoever. But because they are so fucking like MAGA pilled at this point, because that movement and that far right mindset has just completely enveloped the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. You would think that Cracker Barrel changing their fucking logo was the beginning of the end of days. Like God himself was about to open up the heavens and the rapture was about to fucking happen because Cracker Barrel's going woke. And it was the same level of vitriol, the same level of anger, the same level of frustration, and the same level of celebration when Cracker Barrel backpedaled on the rebrand and decided to keep the old logo. There is literally no difference in the intensity of the reaction between Cracker Barrel changing their logo and Charlie Kirk was assassinated. These are not serious people. They're looking for a pretense to the things they want to do anyway. And this is why I don't understand like some liberals going out of their way to virtuize somebody who I don't feel is deserving of that level of virtuosity, because right-wingers were just looking for a reason.
Yeah, they don't care about him.
Regardless of what it was. It wouldn't matter what it is. Yeah, this is it.
I agree with that. I think that they are largely incapable of giving a shit about anything these days. I really do. Look, I mean, I don't understand how they don't have a level of anger, like deep-seated anger, when they see things like Uvalde happen, or like any of these other like major mass shootings, Newtown, or any of these other ones. They don't have that vitriol and that anger in them when kids get killed. But somehow they have it for a fucking logo at a breakfast place, or they have it for this hate monger on their side, but not for innocent kids who don't have any political agenda, who don't have any political homes. They're just kids. But to me, that is an ultimate test of inside group, outside group, right? They got their team. We're on the outside of that team, so we're the outside group. And kids, because they don't have a team, because they're so young, they're nebulous, so they literally don't matter to them. Everything is about 1 or 2, 0 or 1. That's all it is for them. So it's like Charlie Kirk's on our side. We're super mad. Cracker Barrel, we're crackers. We're mad about it, right? Like, that's all it is. If it was, hey, they're changing the logo for, I don't know, what's a black store? I don't know, fucking Downtown Locker Room? I have no idea. I don't know. That's ridiculous. But like, if they changed it, people would be like, that was weird. Okay.
That's lame. Yeah, the old logo. The old logo had a '90s charm to it. Like, why did they get rid of that?
Like, why did they change that? And then you know what people do? I'm going to go back to work. But not Republicans. They go apoplectic about it. And you're right. It is the same level of anger and vitriol, and like we need to like stop this major thing from happening as someone being killed. Like, you're right. It just goes to show you that for them, there is a ceiling of anger, and there is a very not that far below it.
Yeah, but I say the floor is basically right, like an inch below, essentially.
Right. So it's like, basically it. Like, what's the issue? Let's just go. We're right there. And that's it. And it lasts for about 3 to 4 days, and then it'll go away. Maybe you get a week. Maybe. And that's it.
And again, you know that they're not upset about political violence. They're upset about political violence happening to their side. Like they're upset when it happens to them, because the same people that are the most angry, the same people that have the most scathing things to say online about how this changes everything. The time for debate is over. We're about to go to war. These same people were cheering on social media. You can go back and check the receipts. They're there. They didn't take the post down. Believe me, these same people were cheering when Nancy Pelosi's husband was beaten within an inch of his life.
Mm-hmm.
By a hammer wielding assailant. They were the ones making all the jokes about, maybe it was his secret lover. It was a lover's quarrel and this, that, or the other thing. And Don Jr.'s out here like, look at my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume and all this other shit. The same people cheering political violence. Why? Because it was the other side that it was happening to. Oh, we love that. We're totally cool with that. Oh, but something dares happen to one of ours? Mm-hmm. Oh, the liberals are going to pay. But again, despite the fact that we still have no idea why this happened.
And look, I'll say something, and it might be controversial to some people, but I mean this with all due disrespect. We're better people than them. We are. We're better people than them. Even though I fucking hate Charlie Kirk and everything he said with all the passion I can think of. I think that guy was an abhorrent fucking person, and he did nothing to better the world, which is one of the worst things you can learn in life. Is to not learn to leave the world better than where you found it.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not to say
I don't want that guy to get hurt. That's the thing. They will go, hey, it's cool if Paul Pelosi, the husband of a politician I disagree with, gets smashed in the head with a hammer. By the way, he's an elderly guy, right? This is not like he was like fighting him off and he had a hammer and there was like a fight. He's an elderly guy and
by the way, it's not like the guy went there to kill Paul Pelosi. He went there to kill Nancy Pelosi. Like, it just so happens that she wasn't there. Right.
So like when I mean that quite seriously, it's because we're better people than them. And like that feels really mean to say. And I almost thought like, should I not say that? Nah, fuck that. Because in every case, when it comes to, hey man, kids are getting killed, we should probably do something to stop that. Nah, I disagree. Hey man, old people are getting hit with hammers. That's fucked up. I don't know, man. I disagree. Kind of funny. Hey man, people are getting shot. Hey, Steve Scalise, you got shot by a left-wing person. They shot you. That's fucked up. We should probably, make sure that people don't get these high-powered, assault rifles and stuff. Steve Scalise, quite literally, nah, I disagree. I think they should still have them. Oh, I'm still nursing my hip that almost got blown off. What argument am I supposed to believe when I hear them do that? I'm sorry. I know it feels wrong to say that, but I don't think they're good people. I think most of them are.
Well, and the funny thing is that they'll tell you, oh, well, we're principled. No, you're principled about gun ownership. That's literally the only thing you're principled about. You couldn't give a flying fuck.
No.
Oh, no?
Disagree.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because they want to take guns away from trans people.
That's right.
I forgot that.
No, they don't. Yeah. If they didn't have any if double standards didn't exist, they wouldn't have any standards. Like they don't.
Correct. Yes, you are right. Like, you are right.
Name any topic. Oh, we're pro-life. Hey, what about execution? Well, I mean, those people deserved it. Okay, then. What the fuck? I mean, again, I made the joke last week, but it's true. These people who kill abortion doctors, they live by the peacemaker argument, which is, I love peace so much, I'm willing to kill for it. Like, they don't believe in anything.
But the health system in this country is broken. And then Brian Kilmeade's on the couch literally yesterday being like, mentally ill people should just be killed. Like, just fucking kill them. Just get rid of them. Just get rid of the mentally ill. They're a drain on society. And here's the thing. Like, I don't want to act like that there aren't people on the left that has some, like, repugnant shit to say 100. In the wake of Charlie Kirk that we're dunking on. 1,000%. Yes, there are certainly people out there that are doing that shit. But here's a good quote from Mikel Gillette that I saw that I thought that summed things up very nicely. He said, there are violent extremists on the left, but they're not in charge of the party. You can find them on social media, not on the halls of power. The violent extremists on the right are in Congress, on the courts, and sitting in the Oval Office.
Bars. Like, they sounded like 100% facts. Yeah, a couple of people saying some wild shit on Twitter. Who cares? Right? Like, who cares? Like, they don't have the same influence as Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Nancy Mace and all these other people. Yeah, they say horrible shit.
And you see it all the time, like in situations like this where something, vile happens and there's some, person on the left who's tweeting out repugnant shit about it. And you'll see the right wing, like, amplify that tweet. Like influential people on the right will amplify the tweet. And then you go look at the person that said it, and it's someone that has like 12 followers. And that's tweeting out into a fucking void of nothingness that nobody is seeing. The only reason that it's being amplified is because an influential right winger picked it up, and then all of a sudden the mass media takes that and it's liberals are saying this. Yeah. Like all of a sudden that gets subscribed to people on the left in general, when it is just literally the most fringe people who are doing this shit.
Right, but again, they don't have right. Who cares? Yeah, look, I need Democrats, like Democratic lawmakers. Was it Shapiro in Pennsylvania is like, we're going to fly the flags at half mast? No. Hey man, it sucks. We're going to fly it at half mast for kids who get hurt. How about that? Fly for that.
Well, we can't do that. Otherwise, they would just be flying in half mast every fucking day, all day.
I'm confused what the problem is.
It's
simple of there's a problem going on. There is
right, but then to really honor somebody, you'll need to fly the flag at quartermast to because like once it's at half mast all the time, that's not then you're losing the effectiveness of that gesture. Just
like in comic books, somehow Marvel always figures out a way to completely incapacitate Captain America every time they have a Republican president. It's like, hey, Donald Trump got elected. Oh, Captain America got thrown into another dimension and he can't get out. He's really sad about it for 4 years, and then he eventually comes back. Yeah. So that used to be a very common thing. I don't know if it's still happening, but like quite literally, like every time they would figure out a way to like, Captain America died. Like all sorts of America's dead is what we're trying to say. Please understand. By the way, right-wing responses, Brad, you didn't know this. So even though the fuzzy picture of the suspected person who did the shooting, the third person that they're looking for now, is about as lily white as you are, the right, of course, responds by doing what? Sending bomb threats to HBCUs around the country.
Oh, there it goes. That train's never late.
Nope. There you go. And so when people say, Jay, it's not right to say that, we're better people than them. Example 507,999. There you go. It got nothing to do with black people. But because they're so fucking red-pilled racist, they're like, I don't know, why don't we just send in bomb threats to black kids who have nothing to do with this? All right, cool. Great.
Yep.
And by the way, if you're mad
and again, the other reason that I wish that this didn't happen is because now it's led to all this shit being uncorked. So,
yeah. And if you're mad about anything that I'm saying or Brad is saying, just understand that we are expressing our free speech rights, and you should be cool with that because you probably don't know what the First Amendment means anyway. So it's fine. Like it has nothing to do. All right, let's get into news you need. This story, Jesus fucking Christ.
Can I tell you? I know a lot of right wingers were sad, but I don't know if Donald Trump was actually that sad, because it did certainly take this story off of the front page with the news that was going on. So you might recall a couple months ago, the Wall Street Journal reported on this birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday that they had received from the family, where many of Jeffrey Epstein's friends wrote him like letters for his 50th birthday. And one of those people that did that was his old buddy, New York real estate mogul Donald Trump, who wrote him a very weird like poem about enigmas never age, and you've got a secret and I know the secret too, and we're just not going to talk about the secret. And this was written inside of a drawing that Donald Trump had done of like a woman in silhouette, and his signature was made over the area where the pubes would be. And
Classic.
that was right, and that was described, and people were like, wow, this sounds really fucking creepy and also incredibly specific. And of course, Donald Trump and company said, this is bullshit, it's not real, I've never drawn anything in my life. And then, of course, a bunch of drawings.
You're burying the lead. He said, I never wrote a drawing before, which sounds like something an idiot would say.
Right. Only to then have many drawings that Donald Trump did for like charity and shit like that to be resurfaced like after that. Like the guy doodled all the time, apparently. And I'm going to sue the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch for $10 billion if you print this story. And they printed the story, and so he sued them. And so
$1 trillion. Okay.
Right. Just make up money. Just make up a figure at that point. And so the Wall Street Journal was like, all right, bet, we'll go ahead. And so apparently what happened, I think the family released the book among a lot of other things to Congress is what happened. And so once that happened, the Journal was like, well, cool, we'll just go ahead and put this shit out there as well. And they published many of the articles from this book, including the Trump doodle, which was literally exactly how it was described by them when they first reported on the story, except somehow creepier than we had probably imagined it. Because I got to tell you, like, not to try to read deeply into the drawing and what was going through Trump's mind when he did this little drawing, but I got to say, the drawing that he made doesn't necessarily look like the drawing of a nude woman.
Thank you.
It looks more like a drawing of a nude girl, I would say.
Yuck. There was also a drawing from some other creep that was a picture. It was a drawing. It was two drawings, like side by side, of, I don't know if you saw this one. I think I sent it to you guys in the group.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was Jeffrey Epstein handing lollipops to a bunch of like little girls, and then the drawing, like when he was younger, because he has like darker hair and stuff, and then a picture next to it of what I assume would be those same girls as they're older or other women, giving him a massage, like at 50 years old with gray hair, giving him a massage in a lounge chair, and they're like in bikinis or what have you, and it's like, this is time before, this is time now type of shit. But if you look, and the most curious part of that is in the background, it's definitely Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Like it's not even an argument. The idea of him giving candy to little girls says everything about that image to me. Because like, why was that? Why was that the choice of showing little girls, and then like, what is the connection to the little girls in the beginning?
Yeah.
Like there isn't a logical one that doesn't, as far as with him, it doesn't end in some sort of like creepy pedophilic shit. Yeah, I mean, this is like it's the second time I bring up Chris Rock, but like Chris Rock has that joke about Bill Clinton, like Bill Clinton being so happy when the Monica Lewinsky thing is like going on. He's like, oh, kids got killed in a war, like good. Kids died, that's good for me. Good. Like talk about anything. Charlie Kirk died, good. Who cares? Just stop talking about me getting a blowjob, like for the love of God.
Well, so, and the White House's like response to this is it's pathetic, quite frankly. I mean, because like I said, they don't have a defense, right? So like you would think they'd come up with something. You would think that they could have used the past several weeks while they've known this is out there,
right,
to workshop something, right? But instead they rolled with, oh, that's not Trump's signature. Meanwhile, like in the wake of it, many people who received like personal correspondence from Trump that was personally signed by him from around that same time period are like posting these letters on the internet. Be like, no, dog, that's definitely his fucking signature. Like it's like 1000%. Because the White House is trying to be like, oh, like you guys have seen him sign like executive orders and shit, but that's like his full name signature. Like these are being signed with just his first name, and he has a very distinct signature for his first name, just like he does for his fucking full name, right? And so, like, complete with like the long tail at the end of the D, like what you see on all these fucking letters, like it's a pretty fucking prime giveaway. So, like the fact that they're trying to roll with, oh, that's not his signature. Like he didn't write this is fucking laughable. They also, I don't know if the White House did this or someone tried to suggest that like this is like a forgery that was like done by somebody. And
22 years ago.
Right, 22 years ago. So it's like, wait a second. So you're telling me that in 2003, someone forged a birthday letter from then New York real estate mogul Donald Trump 100. To then New York financier Jeffrey Epstein. Forged this letter made up out of whole cloth because somehow they knew that 22 years later, the letter would be surfaced while Donald Trump is president and Jeffrey Epstein is a deceased known convicted pedophile. And somehow this will be used as leverage against Donald Trump while he's president. Like, like did Scott Bakula fucking forge this letter? Like, did he take a fucking quantum leap and is like, oh, I know how I'm gonna fucking get him. Like, we're gonna.
I mean, isn't it obvious that's what happened, Brad? I mean, the fact that you're pretending that this seems some like almost like an Ocean's 11. Like here's how we did the heist sort of thing at the end. I feel like you're being a little rude. Obviously, someone went back 22 years to fucking make this happen. Yeah, no, it's the dumbest argument, and you're right. How many weeks have you guys had to come up with a lie? Instead, they're like, "That's not a signature." That's the best lie you could come up with. No one had anything else, because they're stuck. They're stuck. Mm-hmm. I mean, let's get real. They're fucking stuck, and. One thing is incredibly important here. Not only are they stuck, but Mike Johnson's majority is dwindling by the fucking day. And he's going to get to a point where you're really stuck.
Well, we didn't get a chance to talk last week about Mike Johnson's traversal through the Jeffrey Epstein saga when he just like offhand threw out like, you know, the president might have been an FBI informant. Like actually. What? Actually helping investigate Jeffrey Epstein.
It was like, no, he didn't.
An insane lie so egregious that like the White House wouldn't even entertain it. They're just like, no, he was not an FBI informant. Yeah, and then Mike Johnson had to come out and be like, yeah, I was making that shit. Like, I don't know what the fuck I was.
Sorry, I was lost. Like.
So we just workshopping fucking cover stories for the press now. Like we just like workshopping it out and out and open.
Like the president was an FBI informant. It's like, oh shit, they're buying it. Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. They're not buying it. We're just fucking around, just seeing if you guys are paying attention. Like, no, man, this is which of course led to the logical fallacy. Like, if he was an FBI informant against a thing that he says is a Democratic hoax. Why did he need to be an informant? Like, if this isn't real, like, can you please make the logic make sense? Also, they don't pick people to be FBI informants unless they're already involved in a thing before they got pulled in by the FBI. Okay, you're not a secret agent They were like, hey, this guy is doing crimes. Hey, we're going to throw you in fucking prison unless you dime your friends out that you've been doing this dirty shit with. And that's when you become an FBI informant. So that would imply that even if it is true and you were an FBI informant, what the fuck were you doing there to begin with? Chances are we already know the answer. Also, you were definitely not an FBI informant. That is a Yeah, I mean, he put that out there, and my guess is the White House was like, somebody at the White House was like, but we already said it was a hoax. That doesn't make sense. Like, roll it back, dude. And he was like, oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't know.
Again, when I say, and I'm just going to keep reinforcing this every single week, when I say that we're better people than them, these guys are literally protecting pedophiles. Okay, like they had a vote again today or yesterday.
Oh, well, so that was the next thing. So, again, like we on this podcast, especially in the last several months, we have a lot of time to drag Chuck Schumer. But Chuck Schumer did something cool. He actually bucked standard procedure in the Senate to force the Senate to take up a vote to release the Epstein files to the public, which was a vote that was knocked down solely on party lines. So all 53 Republicans in the Senate voted to protect, or actually, no, it wasn't a party line vote because there were 2 Republicans that joined the Democrats here. So it was Susan Collins that tanked this vote to release the Epstein files in the Senate specifically. She was the deciding vote, and she decided that she'd rather protect a pedophile than allow the public to, get a look at what was promised by many FBI officials when they took office in this Trump regime. So Susan Collins, Maine senator, and 50 other Republican senators, protectors of pedophiles. It is now on the record in the Senate.
Mm-hmm. Again, we're better people, dude. Like we just are. Like we are.
But that might not be the end of it, because Thomas Massie, who appears to be genuinely care about this issue, because he's one of the few Republicans that's actually fighting for it.
I don't think he cares. I think he really likes to stick it to Trump. And
it could be. I mean, it could be. I think it's column A, little column B.
Look, at the end of the day, it all works out. Those people get vindicated, and Thomas Massie collects a head. So if he likes that, you love it.
Right.
You like it.
So Mike Johnson's obviously not letting this come up for a vote in the House. So Thomas Massie said, fuck you, I'll make it come up for a vote. And he got a discharge position submitted that will force the House to take up this issue as well. It took all 212 Democrats and 6 Republicans to support this discharge position in the House. But now the House will have to take up a vote on whether or not to release these files to the public as well. So more to come.
Love it. I love it. Good. Jesus Christ. Everybody there is garbage. This story is insane. Look, man, some people shouldn't have money, because they just don't know what to do with it. Tesla is offering a $1 trillion package to Elon Musk because they just don't know how to stop doing stupid shit. Elon Musk could become the world's first trillionaire if Tesla shareholders approve a new pay package that was put forward by the company's board. Musk would need to meet certain milestones in order to receive the eye-popping compensation, such as producing 1 million robo-taxis and 1 million humanoid robots, as well as increase Tesla's valuation by trillions of dollars. Musk, already the world's richest man, would ascend to new heights of financial untouchability if he was able to achieve these goals. Sorry, I just had a thought. Anyway,
so Tesla's in dire straits.
You picked the wrong one. You picked the wrong one. Sorry.
Tesla's in a rough spot financially, huh? I mean, this is like fucking Hail Mary kind of shit.
This is play money. This is play money, right?
Right.
They don't have $1 trillion to give him.
Well, but they will if he can raise their valuation by trillions of dollars, then they will be able to put together a stock package that they can throw at him to do this. But it's like, bro, like you have backed this horse, and yes, backing this horse brought you to heights of success unseen in your company, unseen by most companies in this world. I totally understand that. I get where you're coming from there. But also, like, how have you not seen at this point, after all these years, that this dude doesn't have the sauce? That you have squoze whatever value, whatever tangible value he can give you out of it already. Your company is a meme stock at this point. If you had any sense at all, you would get him the fuck out of there by any means necessary if you want to salvage being a successful company in the future. But again, you're so intricately tied to him in such a way that you cannot disentangle yourself, that this is all you can do. This is all you can do is by dangling more money in his face to be like, get us robots and robo-taxis, bro. Like, his cars ain't doing it anymore. We can't do the cars anymore.
Right. Like, I feel the second I saw this story, all I can think of is that fucking scene in Inception where Cobb is like, if I were to do this is the company. Like, if I were to do this, if I could even do this, I need a guarantee. How do I know you can deliver? And Musk is like, you don't, but I can. Like, no, that's not. No, don't give that guy $1 trillion. It's insane. Like, he's gonna build.
At least they're not giving it to him up front. I mean, that's the plus, is that they do have they do have milestones that I guess he needs to get to be able to earn the full payout. They're still giving him $29 billion up front, which
I wouldn't give that guy
again
29
insane.
cents. He's gonna build a million robo-taxis. A million?
And a million humanoid robots as well. Don't forget.
Now keep in mind, I want people to remember when they showed those humanoid robots and we found out that they were actually just people in them, like,
of course,
pretending to be robots.
Well, this is literally the fucking Billy Madison bus driver. Well, you can imagine what it'd be like, though, right?
Like,
if they were real.
Like, we got it on. No, you didn't. Well, a guy I know. No, they didn't. You can imagine what it'd be like if they did. Yeah, this is a terrible idea. Now, I mean, I guess if I'm a corporate, I have to put myself in the mind of like a corporate douchebag, right? A board of corporate douchebags. If I'm like, if I say this to him and he's a money hungry piece of shit, then maybe that'll spur him in to some, major innovation. But the problem is, like, Musk doesn't, like, you're not giving Musk the wrench to make this shit. They got to make the technology work. And that's a lot easier. That's way easier said than done, right? They don't have automated driving down yet. You're building robo-taxis, which would require automated driving. Like, you still have to do that part that you've been promising for well over a decade at this point.
So it's always 2 years away. It's always 2 years away.
2 years and 2 weeks, baby. Like, that's the MO of fucking billionaire pieces of shit, apparently. So that's been almost a decade that you've been promising that. You've talked about building more and more charging stations, not just in the United States, but around the world, by the way. That hasn't happened. You were talking about licensing your charging stations to other car companies so that they could use their cars on Tesla chargers. Personal thing that I'm waiting on. That hasn't happened yet, right? That was supposed to be 2 years ago. Still hasn't happened. So you have to fix all of these things and then build a fleet of 100 cars that are dependent on one of those technologies. What is the timeline for this? 2095? Like, what the fuck?
Who knows?
Nonsense.
Who cares? I mean, again, like this is a dude who just says shit. It's why him and Trump got along so well, because they're both dudes that just say shit. They don't fucking think about it. They just blurt shit out. Oh, it sounds good, right? Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And then, somehow they're held to account later. Like, hey, remember when you said this? Like, oh yeah. Like, that'll be later. Like, we're not working on it right now.
Why are you bringing up old shit? Like, sir, that was 2 days ago. Yeah. So, all right. To me, the board of Tesla is full of absolute lunatics. Like, there's no way. I'd be like,
or sycophants, probably people that got there
bit of both,
thanks to him, and so they feel some weird like outsized loyalty to him. And again, because the stock does not perform, by the laws of the stock market normally, like they, I guess, have the ability to do this because people just play that stock no different than any other like fucking meme coin that comes out essentially. So,
okay, that's the end of the free portion for this week's episode of Look Forward. Make sure you go to lookforwardshow.com/premium. Sign up for premium content. It's only $5 a month or $50 for the full year.